Hello, and welcome to this no-cost training webinar. I'm delighted you're here to check out this video today, where you learn how smart, successful, professional, open-minded men over 40 can attract a high-quality, high-value, independent woman of means without going crazy on dating sites or having to dodge another bullet or having to accept whatever comes your way or give up on finding someone that's got her life together because you just want your mojo back to feel good and strong again. That's all. And better choices to make better decisions, knowing exactly what you want, bursting with drive, energy, and inspiration in your own style. Wow, not all women are the same. Isn't that something to contemplate? Maybe all women are the same only because you had similar results with the same kind of woman. So, does that mean there's a possibility of affecting better results by improving the way you are? That's worth a look, right? So, don't skip this question. Quick, what do you want? Right now. What's the first thing in your head? And what's it telling you? That's right, because hiding is no longer acceptable. Not at our age. Ducking and diving, dodging and all that carry on. There's no better way to stay one step ahead of the game than laying it all out there for all the world to see. Step up and let the people know what they're getting. It's that plain and simple. No more games. But it is a quest, just like the Holy Grail. And as with all missions, it requires a certain level of commitment and effort. And to succeed, well, you just have to picture how you see and believe a good relationship should be. Maybe you've experienced it yourself once or twice. And yes, you want more of that action. And why wouldn't you? Presenting yourself as a more well-rounded man with a distinctive style. Healthily masculine. Attracting a high-quality woman that champions the same qualities and values as you do. Going in a similar direction with a real connection. No joking. I enjoy dating at times, but it freaked me out a bit too often, to be honest. And like a friend told me once, you really need to be a bit crazy to survive in that world. Because let's face it, it's more than okay if a woman challenges you in positive ways, and vice versa, of course. So you're always moving in the right direction, encouraging and empowering each other so things get better. Connections fizzle out fast when you're with someone that doesn't get you. Seeing as it's your time to make a real statement of intent. Because there's nothing better than feeling your own power again. So good for you. There's nothing like a word of encouragement or a pat on the back or a well done in your ear, and keep going. We all want to hear that. When you want to be the man that meets a higher quality woman. And as guys, isn't that always how it's been? Because you have to look better than yourself and all these dating sites. And that's why we're here today to finally help you solve that mystery. And there's nothing wrong with trying to figure things out. Even Socrates was a big fan of examining his life to see how it was really going. And whoever thought making real connections with high quality women could be this hard? Meet Miguel, a client of mine, who always had a fear of confrontation because it made him angry. And then straight away afterwards, he felt sad, which he always hated. So, he avoided confrontation. But he realized eventually that nobody really cared what he did, and he did something that changed his results drastically. He stepped up. He made that commitment and put in all that effort just for his own benefit. Because subtle changes often deliver staggering results. How is that? Well, it's through simple observation. This is all down to you and the way you do what you do. So, what do you have to do to stop attracting the same kind of woman? You want to save the drama for Netflix and replace compromise with complement. It's time for you to go beyond all the friction. And if that doesn't get you excited, well then, maybe you need a jumpstart. Remove the buttons that detonate relationship implosions. Because if all those buttons were gone, how would things be different? Think about that one. It's like the holy grail for us. And imagine the strength you'll feel when you've got a powerful, trusting, respectful partner. And she has you covered, just as much as you've got her back. You're not doing it alone anymore. You know just how powerful the right partner can be. So don't just aim higher, aim better. But how, you ask? First off, this is a freebie, guys, so no need to reach for your wallet. And at the end, there's a free bonus training for you. And I'm excited for you to have it, so please stay until the end. And I'll explain exactly how you can get your Vitality 4x4 training. So I hope to see you at the end of the webinar. Because this is a short training that can increase focus and improve the way you talk to yourself. It's short, snappy, and won't take long at all. And it's clever enough to give you a steady 56 small wins a week. Every week. Because it really pays dividends to count your small wins. Those wins really add up. Now, what would it look like if you had a serious strategy in place to claim those small wins every single day? So please stay until the end and get your Vitality 4x4 free bonus. Be ready for some bite-sized steps to help you in getting what you really want. Because it's tough out there. And we're constantly being fed lies and twisted truths and misinformation. So you're going to discover why everything you've been told about attracting a high quality woman may be untrue. And how you can avoid the dread of another bad breakup. Ooh, and stop meeting the same kind of woman. I'll explain why none of this has been working and why it might actually be making things worse for you. Because bad breakups are like touching flames. Definitely don't want to feel that again. The thought of another seriously upset woman makes you cringe and stay single longer. So, how would you even know if the right woman comes along? Would you even be ready? Or are you hoping she just happens to notice you might have hidden qualities from afar? Dream on. I'm Neil Murphy, and I help smart, successful, professional, open-minded men over 40 identify their red and green flags with clear boundaries, knowing what's acceptable behavior and what's not, so they can attract a high-quality, high-value, independent woman of means for a lasting and fulfilling romantic relationship. With side effects such as increased drive, feelings of contentment, satisfaction at work, a contagious feel-good factor, and a vibrant play life. Because I was drained by the cycle of good beginnings and bad endings. Here you will find the strategies to dramatically improve the way you see and present yourself, and how a high-quality woman will instantly recognize how honestly you value yourself. Because you do want a partner that complements you and your lifestyle for your full worth. But can an old dog learn new tricks? Why not? What's stopping him? Because you've certainly got the power. Yeah, celibacy. That's a huge slice taken out of the enjoyment of life. Maybe it's cool, but that's not the point. It would be cool to have something more than sexual companionship. Nice and all as that is. But you've got a feeling there's something more to all of this. Because maybe you want a partner by your side too. Someone that's on your side and always has your back. Someone that makes your life even better. But stop right there. You can make this work. It's not easy, but it is simple, and you have more answers than you realize. How did I find the fix? Well, I have to claim some credit here for being a bit of a dumbass. Through all my bad breakups and character assassinations down through the years. Because there's no holding back in a bad breakup, so you can really learn a lot about yourself. From the vantage of someone who is almost a second shadow to you. I was the one common denominator in those different relationships. And now I had all this previously unwanted feedback. So I ran a little experiment, if you will, and I filled in the pieces of the bigger picture, like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And I recognized the various patterns that emerged. And all the cogs in my little mammal brain started clicking into place because, you know what? I recognized exactly what I could do to prevent any of that pain ever again. That got me thinking because I had to find a fix. Honestly, this kind of deja vu was really bugging me. Certain things, patterns, whatever, they weren't working for me anymore. But once you recognize patterns and understand them, you can create new ones, better ones. And that's the real magic. Now look, a good humbling is very disruptive. Moments that make you realize you can do better. And stop being such a dumbass. At least I stopped dodging bullets. People go on about Navy SEALs and the likes for being something special. But it turns out they really are. Their toughness and stamina and effectiveness in all conditions and situations comes from how well they talk to themselves. They never doubt themselves. How well they talk to themselves creates the grit that makes all the difference. How well do you hold it together when the crap hits the fan? Because this fix will spill over into every single thing you do. It's not just about making yourself more attractive to better win. No man, this is much more than that, and it'll ripple right through your whole freaking world. So be ready. Because nothing is easy. Not when you have to do it all the time. But there are easier ways of getting what you want. Okay, there's an easy way and a hard way. Here are some of the hard ways. Fake it until you make it. But everyone has a tell. Ask any poker player, and who'd know better? So what's your tell when you're faking or bluffing? And what is it when you're not? Because faking it or bluffing won't work for long with a high quality woman. Plus you've already tried it without even realizing. You faked it for sure if you're anything like me. Put on your best face, your best clothes, your best this and your best that. You've told stories to make you look better. You looked interested. It's all natural. But any woman of a high quality should see your tell. Any woman of a high level. Maybe it's different for other guys, but how is faking it working out for you? If you don't put in the work now, you're always going to be stuck playing the same game, in the same pool, meeting the same fish, doing similar things and acting in particular ways. With the same kind of woman you don't want to meet anymore. But faking it definitely won't get you an upgrade to a higher quality pool. In fact, faking it might help you give a good first impression, but probably not a lasting one. And good impressions matter, because when they're shattered, you're back at square one with this woman. Or worse, she's moved on. Literally before you've even started. So be the opposite of fake to stand out. Hard way number 2. Stay single, you're better off. Your married friends think you're living the dream, being single, claiming they live through you vicariously. Yeah, they would if they could, but no they can't. But they still think the grass is greener on the other side. So, careful where you get your relationship advice, because how many genuinely happy couples do you know? Is it more than a handful? Well, they're not going to advise you to stay single when their relationship is so powerful, are they? When they're not faking it? So be aware of who's telling you these things and where they're coming from. Don't get involved. Well, that's a simple strategy because there are a lot of distracted people logging in to dating sites. But at least you know where they all are. So don't date, don't get hurt. And just get on with your single life, nice and easy. But you won't ever know what you're missing. Because staying single doesn't help you grow or evolve. That just makes you a bit of a spectator. So maybe you'll be living your life vicariously through others. The irony. And what's the point of that? The point is, relationships really help you grow. Okay, I've been working on a new strategy to get one step ahead and stop meeting the same kind of woman. First step, identify red flags as soon as possible. Because everyone has their ways, routines, habits, and all that. But people are always showing who they are and what they believe in, especially in the early days of a relationship. And the excitement of meeting someone new, it's so easy to ignore the tells and warning signs, whether you notice them or not. And we don't want to lose more time or waste more money on someone that will be gone as fast as you met them. Because now we're aware of our red flags. So we'll talk about recognizing them in good time. In part 1, we'll discuss red flags. Part 2 is going to be about keeping your eyes wide open. Part 3 is being resourceful. And part 4, knowing your green flags. Okay, using your experience. If you're anything like me, the thrill of the chase used to cloud my judgment. I'm not sweating the small things because it's so exciting when you meet a new woman. There's no doubt the ones that are bad for us can be so much fun. And who isn't attracted to fun? So I often ignored red flags and warning signs when a hot woman was showing so much interest and intrigue in me. So it's no harm in taking a step back and taking a better look at what's really happening and getting a better feel for the situation. And in the honeymoon period, the first few months are often exhilarating. All those feel-good chemicals going off in your brain like fireworks. And the excitement. Man, it's almost too good to be true. So we let our guard down just a bit, and maybe we don't notice the things we should see in the heat of the moment. Instead of recognizing the high value of being yourself. And the same goes for a high value woman. She mightn't be showing you all her cards, but she is showing you some. Because it's scary enough at the best of times to even talk to a woman, approach a woman. And putting yourself out there isn't easy. But you're not faking it, and you'll surely want to know if she is or not. And yes, it's all about seeing straight. Because how do we choose the women? How do we choose the women we fall in love with? Sometimes we fall in love with someone who cares for us in familiar ways. But don't fall in love with someone that cares for us in ideal ways, and that could be a big difference. So what signs are we reading even in the first days of knowing someone new? Because if they're interested in you, they'll want you to know who they are and what they're about. And you'll be doing the same. Showing signs, waving flags, sending signals, and reading those early signs, flags, and signals will have a definite impact on how things work out later. Does trusting our instinct draw us closer to attracting those that make us happy? That's the question. Which brings us to a real life believe it or not moment. All women are not the same. Wow. Think about that. Because there are happy couples out there. So it is possible that a woman is happy without needing someone else to make her happy. Who cares what people say? Because life isn't as much fun without hope. Or you wouldn't be here right now. And it's not as if you're looking for an elusive dream woman. You just want to meet a good one. Because luck is an attitude, but strategy brings it to life. Green flags. Finding that femme non fatale. So we've talked about red flags and warning signs, and you know the cost of ignoring them. They bite you in the butt when you least expect it. And I know only too well because I was a major culprit. Letting things slide so the relationship would stay hot and my woman would be cool. So I was willing to let those things slide so we could just carry on, enjoying ourselves, having fun. But what about those green flags? Have you decided what you're looking for in a woman? Are you willing to deal with whatever comes along and cope with the fallout when it happens, just to have fun? Or how do you know your green flags from the red ones to really get what you want? Because as men, we do make mistakes. How often have you got involved with someone and just felt, man, I got lucky here? And you don't even think twice about jumping right in, going full speed ahead right from the start, missing those warning signs and ignoring whatever red flags a woman might not even hide. Because that's just her, who she is. But, like breaking red lights, eventually it's going to get you in trouble. And of course, you really want to impress her. Being starstruck, buying her this and that, showering her with all sorts of unnecessary stuff that just gives her the wrong impression. That you're an easy touch and she doesn't even have to do much around you, if anything. Even if you believe you're just being yourself, a nice guy. That's not to say she won't accept your gifts, but it comes across as maybe being a bit needy. Overplaying your hand just to prove you're worthy. Or maybe your last relationship didn't end too well, and perhaps you've detected a pattern with other relationships. You even feel a bit guilty for the way that one turned out. So now, you're hoping the next one works out better than the last, but somehow manage to keep doing the same things anyway. With a tweak here and another adjustment there. Diminishing and inhibiting your ability to just be yourself. Whereas a woman sets out her stall pretty much straight away, especially when she knows she's got your full attention. This is me, and I know you like it. And of course, why wouldn't she do that? She's setting her tone and making it clear this is how she wants her relationships to work. But us guys, we get lucky. Blinded by beauty and happy feelings. I'm in. Where do I sign? What do I have to do? Jumping straight in at the deep end. But when things go bad, how often have you heard something like, well, you knew I was like this from the beginning. Why is it a problem now? Because better beginnings prevent those bad endings. So, in the second step, we'll talk about the importance of boundaries in relationships. Or else, the woman will just trample over them and push your limits to the max. And along with your expectations, this is to help you decide what's acceptable behavior or what's not. Because you know what happens when you listen to yourself. But what doesn't happen when you don't? And how often are you right? So it's up to you to determine how you want to get involved with a woman. Part 1, we'll talk about one-step boundaries. And part 2, establishing real expectations. And part 3 is going to be what's acceptable behavior and what won't be. Got to know your limits. I was often direct when it came to setting boundaries at work and with my buddies. There's certain lines I wouldn't let people cross. Of course, they would get stretched and bent out of shape every now and then. And I think about it, analyze it a bit, take a step back and have a closer look. But when it reached a certain point, I'd have to put my foot down and stop the behavior before it caused major problems. Sometimes though, with the emotional connection I have with a woman, I wouldn't be so decisive. That's why composure is vital. The ability to take a step back and get a feel for what was really going on and see where my boundaries had been stomped. Because that's usually when the relationship will turn into another unhappy ending. Boundaries mark our turf, and we shouldn't let anyone push us around like that because it sets us up for some serious disrespect. And a woman will test your boundaries, of that you can be certain, pushing your limits, because she wants to know if you have any. And if you don't express them early, she's going to walk right over them. So up to you not to let that happen from the get-go. And stay one step ahead, because as men, we're quite partial to a beautiful woman. Of that there's little doubt. And why wouldn't we be? Well, or any woman we're interested in, to be honest. So it's really important to stay one step ahead when a woman enters our lives, because we don't want to sell ourselves short too early on. Not when it could come back to haunt us later on. When you find yourself on defense, just like with your last woman. Because it's all about respect. And if a woman respects anything, it's a man that has control over his emotions. A partner asked me once, when I might have been a bit emotionally overheated, "Where's the man I met?" Now that was a proper slap in the face, because I had no answer, and she was right. And it should have been a eureka moment, but I lost control and eventually lost a woman. Because love is an attitude, and you want to define behaviours that you won't accept from a woman, so you can weed them out before it gets too deep. Especially when your intuition is in such a state of flux, like when you're falling in love, and you really need your compass to work, because you don't just want to fall in love, you want to be rising into it. With your number one fan, thinking, what would it look like if your perfect fit partner supports you all the way in everything you do? Can you imagine a woman empowering you to be even more of yourself? Because you deserve a number one fan that thinks you're incredible. You've had the opposite and you've seen how that doesn't work. So being adaptable and flexible is fine. But anything less than acceptable behavior is not. It's you that decides that. So read those tells. Because sometimes we fall into our own traps. But imagine this. A woman wants a man with clear boundaries. Hard as that may be to believe. She respects that. It saves her so much time in not testing you. She'll know that you have real respect for yourself and won't put up with any of the usual crap. And she finds it highly attractive when her man knows what he wants, standing up for what behaviours you won't accept from her. She doesn't want to push your limits to find out for herself, but she will do if you don't set the tone early. Because she definitely doesn't want any indecision from you, or feelings like you're not good enough. And letting her walk all over you does not turn her on. But sometimes we get dragged into a woman's emotional drama. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And we should know better by now. She'll get under your skin and boom, you're in trouble. Because here's the difference between men and women. A woman is like the ocean and a man is like a ship. Think about that. A woman is the ocean and we're trying to steer a course on that. So we've got to hold a steady course at all times. We've got to have the ability to hold that steady course. Because she doesn't want us responding emotionally to her emotional outbursts. And it's not so funny when the outcome you typically expect actually happens. The same breakup again, but with a different woman. It kind of sets us up to feel so right about ourselves. Again. But we expected it. And we find out there's so little satisfaction in being right like that. Then in the third step, we're going to talk about once you attract a high value woman, you need a strategy and a psychology to keep her. Becoming a master of creating powerful emotional connection. So you can always keep things fresh, never letting it turn stale. Building a love that lasts and helping you both grow. Knowing the right balance of the polarity between masculine and feminine energies. Because you found your needle in a haystack. Wow. You thought that would never happen again? Now what? You've got to work some magic to keep the spark alive and kicking. In part 1, we're going to talk about sparking strategy. Part 2 is about mastering emotional connection. Part 3, of course, is working your magic. Part 4, polar attractions, feminine and masculine energies. Okay, what's your spark code? Surprise, surprise, you found her. Now what? Because it's really not cool when your woman asks where her man went. That's where we start to lose them. But when we understand the psychology behind keeping her hot and interested, and we think clearly about what we need to do, that's when a high-value woman can love you for who and what you really are. Because she doesn't have to challenge you to be better, and she won't need to push your buttons or undermine you, because she clearly sees that you're a top dog. Because look, it's all about finding satisfaction. So what ultimately makes a woman think twice? Is it a man that can master and create powerful emotional connections? Maybe so, because she doesn't think such a man exists. And to be honest, such a man is a rare commodity. That's why this man is such high value. But we all know about the power of belief. It works with us and against us, whatever we're trying to achieve, wherever we put our focus. And sometimes it just boils down to one question. Do I deserve it? But of course you do. You deserve love. We have the willpower. And sometimes a lion has to roar to make a point. So forget the confusion. You are a lion. Even if it's a new paradigm out there and change is happening fast. There's no way we can keep up with it all. But there's no harm in being a more complete version of ourselves. Because, and I know this well, parts of us shut down after a bad breakup. The very same parts that might just help attract the right kind of woman. So enough with the shorts and the reels and the trailers. It's time to release the full movie, man, and you're the #1 star. Let that high value woman recognize you for the rare commodity you really are. Don't let her continue searching in vain. She's looking for you. Let her find you. How can selfishness be healthy? There is such a thing as healthy selfishness, and it's no seeming paradox. Because when you care for and help others, that genuinely makes you feel good, right? Helping others grow. And guys with high levels of healthy selfishness tend to show greater self-compassion. It's also positively related to a sense of competence, the perception that you're achieving the goals you want in life, and an authentic pride for your accomplishments. We can't let anyone make us feel guilty about that as men. It's part of what makes us so attractive to the right woman. So yes, I'm all for a bit of healthy selfishness, because it gives our relationships an enduring spark. It makes you the man that can build love that lasts, keeping it fresh, never letting things go stale. And what woman would not find that super attractive? Talk about standing out from the crowd. A man working his magic in silence and style. Always finding novel ways to keep her interested and squealing in delight. Doesn't seem to take any effort. Now, how do you want to work your magic? Because when it comes down to it, we all come from man and woman. So how can we not have traits of both the masculine and feminine? It's simple biology. But it's important to recognize when both are being expressed in our relationships, so we, as men, can provide the reasonable balance any situation needs, without resorting to the extremes of an emotional explosion. When a woman sees that our man is capable of doing just that, she understands that she's got to step up just as much, because she will not want to lose you. Not when you're more than she ever dreamed about. Because let's face it, we do make our own mess sometimes. We tend to get lost in our own heads and end up blanking the small stuff, like the special anniversaries to which she might be partial. Like, we're 1 month together, yay. But we get too busy or distracted, glued to our phones while we're sat on the sofa watching TV with our woman. Double screen diversions. Acting oblivious, relegating her to number 3 priority in any given moment. And that's not a good look. Because a woman really likes it when you appreciate the small things. The chocolates she doesn't hate or the flowers she likes. It shows her how you do things, and you heard her, you listened. But she definitely wants to see you doing your best. That's very important to her, because it communicates clearly that you care. Now, it could be as simple as asking how her day is going, like you did at the start, but you stopped. So why aren't you doing it now? Perhaps the warning signs for her are the simple things you stop doing, like not bringing her that coffee in bed that she might not drink. But these small things matter. And even though we prefer the easy life, we often contrive to make it much harder. And sometimes we pass too many decisions onto our woman, when the reality is that a lot of women do not want to make decisions. They want their man to make the decisions for them. Because if women have to make the decisions all the time, they don't find that very attractive. No, they don't like that at all. But she always appreciates you doing your best, whatever you're doing. That's so sexy for her, because she wants to see how much she really means to you by showing yourself enough respect to put in the effort. Simple as that. Now, I don't know who you are. I don't know your unique situation. So let's get on a call and let's figure this out together. Let's get you a custom game plan so you know what to do moving forward. And hey, if you'd like my help with this over a period of time to find the right woman, to make sure that you're not falling into one of these mistakes, into these traps, and to give us some options to work together, let's get on that call. Just like Alex, a client of mine, who'd found it hard to trust people because when he was 7 years old, his best friend moved away and he'd felt so abandoned. So subconsciously, he kept his distance from other people, getting too involved ever since. But now, after working together, he's opened up and he's starting to show real interest in everyone he meets. He's very open and engaging, whereas before he just observed. Now he's asking questions, delving deeper, showing real interest, and he doesn't hold back. He wants to know everything. It's like he just got the freedom of the big city. Coming out of himself in this amazing way has definitely made people take notice. He's loving it. Especially the higher quality woman that now finds him so attractive. Yes, they are going out. So well done, Alex. Okay, here's a question for you. Do you want to spend the most amount of time, money, and energy to make the least amount of progress and work way too hard at it? Or do you just want to get past this stage right now and spend the least amount of time, money, and energy to make the most amount of progress? Because luck is an attitude, and who says you can't create your own good luck? And it's not hard to believe that the right woman can make all the difference, because people tell me all the time, I love the fun of meeting someone at the start. Great fun and excitement until one day it's not. But then it's usually too late, because it's already in the end game or the blame game and the damage is done. The only thing being shared at this point is just the hurt. That sucks. And you're left asking, oh, what happened? Ouch. I get it. When you're deep in the gutter of another bad breakup, the first thing you think is, never again. Funny how the misery of a breakup wipes out all the good of a relationship, making it harder to go again. And that feeling really sucks. You really need the emotional flexibility of a ninja. For the dynamic man, this is the first step. Not that biting criticism was something he wanted to hear or feel, but it was an appetizer for the adjustments required. to sift through the wreckage, the hurt, shame, embarrassment, vulnerability, and the paralyzing sadness, peppered with regrets. When he lets someone in and tells them everything about himself, who better to critique him for where he's at when everything is done? Because he'd already paid the toll, and why would he want to pay again? That's a good motive. So when the dynamic man asks himself for the first time, what does he really want in a relationship? Because it had always been the same for me too when it came to women. I hadn't a clue why the same thing kept happening over and over, with different women. Had I been cursed by some previous partner? But look, we don't have to literally travel back in time to change the story. We can do it much easier than that. Because breakups get worse and the landings get harder, unless you do something about it. And there's no shortage of crazy out there, unless, of course, you're really into self-torture. And the dynamic man is exactly the process that will get you there, feeling good and excited to get on with it all. Everything we do in life is a trade-off. Doing one thing means sacrificing something else. So, what are you willing to give up to achieve what you want? So, how long have you been trying to find this ultimate woman? In the last 30 days, how much time have you spent trying to attract a cool woman? Looking for where she's hanging out and how to start a chat? Thinking the law of averages has to kick back in your favour at some point, surely? Reading ridiculous meaning into profile stories? We think we know ourselves until we see who finds us? And then all that meaning we thought we had flies out the window. Funny though, how we forget the breakup pain so fast when the flirtations recommence with others. All because you haven't had the chance to follow the dynamic man plan. Well, not yet. And not forgetting the cost involved in subscriptions to dating sites and disastrous dates. But maybe you want to spend the least amount of time, money and energy and make the most amount of progress. So you don't lose any more time attracting the same kind of woman. But consider this. There is an answer to your call for help, or your need for help. When you just want to take some action, any action at all, because you can't keep going the way you are, something has to change. So, what would it take? You could of course hope this ultimate woman just shows up, all by herself. But how will she find you? What a story that would be. But you know where that gets you. Because when I was looking, I had to ask myself a simple question. If the information I used led me to attracting the wrong kind of woman, then I needed a better way to meet a high quality, high value woman. But to do it right, having tried and tried, I want to help other men meet their high quality woman for a high value relationship. So this is how we can start fixing this for you today. I'm offering the opportunity to leverage what I've learned through this process, to save on the bags of cash and all the time I wasted on the women that were wrong for me. Learning all the hard ways with too many breakup beatdowns, just so I could make that breakthrough, to find my high quality woman and help scores of men do the same along the way. Because when you're in your groove, nothing can stop you. You know that. The world is a better place and everything just clicks for you. So, I'd like to set up a 100% no-cost dynamic man call on how to attract a high-value, high-quality woman of means using the dynamic man plan. I'll help you complete a dynamic plan just for you, so you can stop meeting the wrong women all the time, to get you styling and attracting some high-quality women. And you'll leave this call with the exact system my clients have used to meet a higher quality woman, to help attract high value, high quality women using the dynamic man plan. And once you learn this program, you'll feel your own quality and value increase. Because the only way to attract higher quality women is to be that better version of yourself, just more consistently. Good. Okay, by the way, remember that bonus training I mentioned earlier? Well, sign up for the call and the Vitality 4x4 will be sent directly to your inbox. and I'm super excited for you to have it. In fact, I get so much great feedback from it, I've just updated my training. So I'm delighted to share all that with you, as well as the Vitality 4x4, which you can do when you're brushing your teeth. You won't even have to break a sweat. So booking this call is the single most important thing you can do right now to attract your ultimate woman. Just click the button below to book a call, because you don't want the hurt and shame of another bad breakup, feeling low and down, alone with your dreaded thoughts again. Not when you've put in so much groundwork over the years and made such an effort in broken relationships. You've learned so much, had so many different experiences, and you know what to do. So it's time to step up and find that ultimate woman for you right now. So you know what to do to get you back in your groove, because it's not easy to make quality decisions without knowing exactly what you want. High quality women really need you to show your best self to the world today. They're patient, but they're waiting. So click the button below to book a call. Taking the right action is where the real magic starts. Click the link below and let's get the ball rolling.